Assalamu alaikum. I'm with Shaykh Haitham in his office in East London. Shaykh Haitham, could you share with us what our priorities should be over the coming election period?
Yeah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Yes, now it is 6 o'clock and the deadline to register to vote is coming within 6 hours exactly. Yeah, 6
Okay,
hours,
yeah,
maybe 5 hours, 59 minutes.
yeah,
To cut it short, brothers and sisters, honestly speaking, I believe that every single Muslim is obliged
yeah,
to register to vote, and then he or she, they are obliged to vote for the right candidate.
yeah,
Okay, my dear respected brothers and sisters, I strongly believe that many of us, especially those who are sitting in constituencies where there are some marginal seats,
yeah,
they will be sinful if they don't register to vote and if they don't vote. Did you get that?
yeah.
I strongly believe that they are going to be sinful,
Right.
committing
Absolutely.
a sin.
Yeah,
Why is this? Brothers and sisters, okay, some people, they think that what is the dalil for this? They think that Allah Jalla wa ala in the Quran will speak about voting, or Allah Jalla wa ala will speak about registering to vote directly in Quran and Sunnah. No, Islam is not understood like this to ask for a specific dalil about this. But Allah Jalla wa ala called us as the best of nations because what? We are enjoying the good and forbid the evil. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر. Allah Jalla wa ala also says وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ وَيَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ. There should be among you an ummah that calls for goodness and enjoying the good and forbid the evil. Also the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the well-known hadith, he says that every single, whoever sees anything wrong, he should change it by his hand if he can. Then if he cannot, then by his tongue. If he cannot, then by his heart. Oh, and many other proofs that command us as Muslims to try to change the status quo to become a better situation. This coming election, brothers and sisters, believe me, this coming election, it will influence maybe the situation of Muslims, maybe globally, maybe internationally. I cannot go into more details about this. I think, mashallah, the Muslim community is smart enough to understand this. That's why, brothers and sisters, those who did not register, go today and register. It will take you only 4 to 5 minutes maximum to register by 12 o'clock today. Today, I mean Tuesday, the 26th of November. Please, brothers and sisters, this is a historical moment for us as Muslims, for Britain. And by the way, we are not calling for benefiting us as Muslims. What we are calling for will benefit the entire British society, all Muslims and non-Muslims. And in fact, it will benefit the entire world, Muslims and non-Muslims. I hope that we understand this and we take it seriously. Jazakumullah khair. Salaam Alaikum.
Bismillah, wa salatu wa salam, Rasulullah, wa ba'd. In the name of Allah, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon His last and final messenger. As to what follows, family, friends, foes, haters, and hateettes, welcome back to the Feachaz. I greet you all in peace and love with no hatred in my heart. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon all of you. So now, before I begin, I'd like to ask you all to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit me up on Patreon. If you are there on Facebook, if you want to participate in this live podcast, then please visit us on YouTube. And also to subscribe to the two mirror sites, that is the Feachaz on Library, that's lbry.com, as well as the infamous Feachaz on YouTube. As you know, we got many haters, many haters. Okay. And today's topic is a very important topic. As you see, I played an excerpt from Shaykh Haitham Haddad and his opinions about voting and the obligation of Muslims to vote. So we want to tackle this topic, inshallah, because it's very, very important. And we want to give the Sheikh his proper due. He is an alim, he's a scholar. We respect his knowledge, we respect him in his age. However, there's some underlying issues here that I find that you find like a lot of Easterners, they come with this type of idea about the West, and they come with these types of perceptions because of the reality that they came from in the East, and they try to kind of superimpose that on Western society, and at the same time, you find Westerners who kind of go into extremes as well. So, what should be our plan of action as a Muslim community? So, like, subscribe, share, and let's get into it. So before we begin, I want to say wa alaikum salam to the brother Abdul Mateen. Hayakumullah. Wa alaikum salam to brother Islam in perspective. And let's see, brother Abu Sufyan, he has a comment here. He says, this reminds me of the time when the Arab guy gave a speech about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Okay. And he calls her big cringe. Okay. And also, Sister Tika wanted to say wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh as well. So now that we got that out the way, let's get right into it. Family, the ideas of democracy are not new. Actually, the whole concept of democracy is a very old concept, even older than Islam itself. It's an old type of understanding of how to govern people. And since the turn of the century, during World War I, World War II, when you started having these nation states, what happened was the European powers, they pretty much set up two main ideals of how to govern countries. And one was democracy or democratic societies, and the other one was communism. And while they were divvying up these nation states all over the world, these imperialistic nations, they put their own puppet leaders at the heads of every single state so they can usurp the resources out of all these nation states into Europe. So I asked this question, I believe last week sometime. Like, for example, what does Britain actually produce? What does France actually produce? Like, what do these countries actually produce besides a whole bunch of nothing? You know, they produce a whole bunch of nothing, correct? Well, then how is it that they're so rich? It's because their colonies, or their former colonies, particularly in Africa, you know, get taxed up to 30% of their natural resources and send it to European powers. You understand? That's what it is. That's what it is about. So now, when you have all the Muslim Ummah now, right, since the fall of the Ottoman Empire, and they're looking at Europe without actually understanding the history of how we got this way, and they see democratic societies working, or what they consider working, at least working better than the Islamic societies. What they think is that they believe these societies are working because of democracy. You understand? You feel me? They feel that they are working and operating because of this type of, you know, one ballot, one vote type of choice for the people, like power, this type of the illusion of power to the people. And the reason why I decided to tackle this particular issue today is because of this mindset, particularly from our brothers and sisters coming from the East to the West. They see democracy as this type of, like, why can't we have democracy in Islamic society and all this kind of stuff? You know what I mean? You see it like that because they are looking at Europe like, oh wow, look at all this European stuff, right? Not realizing that the reason why Europe is the way it is because of thievery, not because of democracy. Let's be very clear here. Let's be very clear. The ones who make the laws and write the laws, you think they're gonna write the laws and make the laws for the benefit of other people? Like, no country on earth operates like this. Whether it's Britain, Canada, uh, USA, or any uh, Middle Eastern country for that matter. The difference comes in how savvy these countries are in presenting their systems. So, in the majority of the Muslim countries, the dictators will just act like open dictators because, for the most part, they're colonial uh, puppet masters, for the most part, are ordering them to be dictators, like the late Saddam Hussein, like the late, excuse me, Muammar Gaddafi and whatnot. And when they get out of line, that's when you see these same so-called democratic societies overthrowing and assassinating Muslim leaders. Y'all feeling me? So now we have Sheikh Haitham Haddad, right? So Sheikh Haitham, he's from Palestinian origin, right? He studied in Saudi Arabia. He studied with Sheikh, the late Sheikh Uthaymeen rahimahullah, right? And he has a bunch of knowledge. And the Bab, if you saw at the beginning of the, if that you saw that clip, the Bab that he is ordering the Muslims to vote is from the Bab, or the gate of um, commanding the good and forbidding the evil. You understand? And in Islam, this type of door is flexible. It is actually flexible. However, what is the strategy of voting something that the Muslims should be uh, participating in? That's the question. Because on one hand, you have these types who say that you must vote and you must participate in democracy, and it's our Islamic duty to do so. But these types empower the enemy. That's what they're not seeing. Once you have basically submitted to the idea that, okay, you must vote, then what you are actually doing in effect is you are in fact empowering the enemy, because you are only voting for the enemy only. You understand? And then there's the other hand, right? On the other hand, you have these other types who say that democracy is haram and voting is haram and kufr. And these types, when they say this stuff, they shoot our own people in the foot. And they handcuff us from achieving anything under democratic societies. So, what should be the strategy for Muslims? So, I want to ask y'all, do you guys know who Dr. Claude Anderson is? Who is Dr. Claude Anderson? Do you guys know him? Just yes or no. Put it in the chat, please. Do you guys know who Dr. Claude Anderson is? Just yes or no. Who know if you yes if you know him, no if you don't know him. Dr. Claude Anderson. Okay, so no. We got one no. Okay. So Dr. Claude Anderson is a political strategist and economist rather, right, from the States, okay? And he's worked with several presidents all the way back from even the civil rights era. And he has come up with, you know, a strategy, particularly for black people, and how to be politically savvy. And what I'm about to do is I'm about to outline to you his strategy. But before we get into that, I just want to briefly, basically paraphrase what Sheikh Uthaymeen, rahimahullah, said about democracy and voting. You can find his fatwa; they're readily available. And what you find between these two camps, the ones who are pro-voting and the ones who are anti-voting, they always quote Sheikh Uthaymeen, and they never quote the full fatwa of Sheikh Uthaymeen, which is unfair to the Sheikh, right? The one side who are anti-voting, they will quote Sheikh Uthaymeen said that democracy is from kufr, and it's from the lands of the kuffar and blah blah blah. This is the gist of what the Sheikh Uthaymeen said. And on the other hand, the ones who are pro-voting, they will say, well, Sheikh Uthaymeen also said that if it is a strategy for the Muslims for commanding the good and forbidding the evil, then yes, you should do it, right? So this is the bab again that where Sheikh Haitham Haddad is coming from, right? However, the strategy itself, what he's saying, just go and vote for the right person, telling the Muslims to go vote for the right person, is completely and utterly, totally flawed. That is the problem. That is the problem. You understand? To advise the Muslims to say, okay, let's go vote, because if you don't vote, then this will happen or that will happen. You are essentially trusting the enemy to do the right thing, okay? And the enemy will never do the right thing. The enemy will never do the right thing, okay? As long as you believe in their systems and their programs, they have you exactly where they want you. You understand? So, Dr. Claude Anderson, what he said is that black people should not vote Democrat, they should not vote Republican. Rather, what they should do is be independent and come up with a program and present to whichever party is asking for your vote, and then say, what are you going to do for us? And then you vote. You understand? You don't just give your votes away for the sake of giving them away. And this idea that Sheikh Haitham Haddad has been presented to black people for the better part of 60 years. That just vote. If you don't vote, right, the whole country will be upside down, and it will say the same things as he's quoting. He is not quoting anything different or anything new. We've been dealing with this for the better part of 60 years in the black community. And like I said, I keep saying this, and y'all, I don't know if y'all is paying attention, but I'm going to say it again. The black struggle is the Muslim struggle. If you want to see their plans for the Muslims, you have to look no further than what they've been doing with black people all the time. Do you know how many times the black community has heard, oh, you must vote. If you don't vote, and it's always a Democratic Party. If you don't vote Democrat, then, or in Canada, it's a Liberal Party. If you don't vote Liberal, then, you're going to have a racist in power and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And so now there is these scare tactics in order to do what I said in the beginning, empower your enemy. You understand? And your enemy leverages this fear in order to put themselves in power. They're not trying to empower you. But if you look, as Dr. Claude Anderson writes in his book Powernomics. If you look at the Jewish community or the Chinese community, and do you see them being politically involved like that in any democratic society? The answer is no. And, well, how do they get all this power into democratic societies without being politically involved? It's called quid pro quo. What are you going to do for us? So just telling Muslims to go all willy-nilly vote for this party or that, just vote and register to vote, and without any guidance or without asking for any quid pro quo, is a massive mistake. Shaykh Uthaymeen rahimahullah never lived in the democratic society. You understand? He is telling the Muslims, he's advising the Muslims based upon what he knows. Most Easterners, like Sheikh Haitham Haddad, they don't understand the new. It's clear he didn't understand the nuances of democratic society, or else he wouldn't say it like that. He would be advising the Muslims, okay, Muslims, we have this program. We're going to present it to both parties, and we are going to see which one is going to help us out. You understand? But again, he's just asking the Muslims just to go vote. And what it is leading to now, this idea, just go vote, the sky's going to fall if you don't vote, and the world's going to end, and this and that. What is leading to now is it's leading to easy ways to control the larger immigrant Muslim society. Okay? That's all it's leading to. And I'm going to show you some videos, right? So you can see exactly where I'm going with this. Right, we're going to watch this one first. 1 second. 1 second, guys. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so first of all, family, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. This sister is talking about the blind spot for British society is Islamophobia. When has Britain been uberly welcome, you know what I'm saying, to the larger Muslim society? You're talking about colonizers here, right? The same colonizer that we know, right? And this is a disease that comes from Easterners. I'm sorry to say it like that, right? Here she is, she complaining about Islamophobia from the British society, and the only possibly identifiable thing about her being Muslim is brown skin. That's it. And I said before that it's not that Allah loves these devilish people, okay? The enemy. It's not that he loves them. It's that they are more serious about their kufr than we are about Islam. And that's why we're losing. How are you pointing the finger about British society and Islamophobia, and you can't even, you're out here defending the Muslims with no hijab and stuff? Like, what? Like, I don't know. To me, I don't know. I don't know if she's Muslim or not. I legit don't know. I don't know if anybody knows, but she's speaking like a Muslim to me. You feel me? But anyway, it gets worse. It gets worse. Let's listen. Did y'all hear what she just said? This is I don't know if y'all catching this, but she's telling the world that she got Pakistani roots. Pakistani roots, okay? She's not even thinking about building up Pakistan or going back home or investing. She's not even thinking about that. She want to stay in white society, build up Britain, and spit in the face of her own people. This is a disease. So you legit, you are the way that you want to be around white. It's like this is crazy, man. You're not even thinking about your own people. You are so desperate to be accepted by the enemy, you spit in the face of your own people. Why you want to buy a house in Punjab? Why? Why? They no money there. You can't invest there and blah. What is this? What is this? These are the people that are going to push Islam in the forefront. These people, nothing outwardly identifiable that will identify her as a Muslim, and praising the enemy and begging the enemy to stay. Well, please keep us. This Islamophobia stuff is terrible, and spit in the face of her own people. Oh boo-hoo. Oh boo-hoo. Little Ali and Bradford. Oh boo-hoo. Little Fatima and Lester. Oh boo-hoo. Exactly. Yes. Like, how do you not know this? Like, you didn't know? Like, for real, for real? You didn't know? You didn't know that you could get treated like a second class citizen in Britain? Oh, no audio. Okay. Let me do it again, people. Let me do it again. My bad. Sorry. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. I'm gonna let you listen to the whole thing. But this is crazy, man. But this is how Muslims are thinking. Tell me if you read the subs. Okay, you said read the subs? All right. Okay, so if you read the subs, we won't play it again, inshallah. But that's how Muslims are thinking, man. It's insane. It's insanity. Why would I want to go back to build a house in Punjab? Why? Like what? You are legit working, investing, building, educating, and making better the enemy society. Worried about little Fatima and Leicester and crap. What about Fatima and Punjab? You didn't think about Fatima and Punjab? You didn't think about Abdullah and Punjab? No love for them. And the ironic thing, when I was working in Saudi, the South Asians in Saudi, they did everything they possibly could to keep their jobs. Why? Particularly the Pakistanis. Why? Because they knew how hard life was in Pakistan. And they knew that their families were depending on them in Pakistan. You can't tell me this woman at 50 years old don't know how hard life is in Pakistan. She looked down on her own people. That's why she's speaking like that. But what made her get to that point? What made her reach this point? The idea that democratic society will empower her as a brown-skinned Muslim. That's what made her reach that point. Y'all hearing me? And who gave her those ideas? The Muslims who are telling her that democratic society will empower you as Muslim. Let me ask y'all a question, okay? Do you think that your enemy in any democratic society will allow you as brown people to come into their society, give you citizenship and voting rights, and call you British in order for you to become the dominant group in that society? Do you seriously think that's going to happen? Duh. Like, is that what you think is going to happen? The same people that went to South Asia, colonized South Asia, colonized Africa, told the whole world that the superior race is the white race, put it in all of their literature, convinced the South Asians, oh, you guys are Caucasian too, and you guys got so happy, oh, we're Caucasian like you, just a little bit darker. Oh, we're just like you. Now you go into their society, and they getting ready to kick you out. And now you're surprised? Y'all are tripping. You are straight tripping. When has the world ever worked like that? So with all due respect to Shaykh Haitham Haddad, right? Because he doesn't know this. He just got here. He's happy to be in Britain with all the opportunities and freedom, and you know what I mean? He's thinking about all the crap that has happening in Palestine and all the Muslim countries and whatnot, not knowing all of this nonsense that's happening in the larger Muslim society came from Europe. I got another video for y'all. Let me just try to fix the volume. You guys are, I don't know what to tell you, man. That was like, just the self-hate was just, excuse me, oozing, dripping. So much self-hate. One second, y'all. Oh, I know what I can do to get this, make you guys hear it. One second. One second, yo. Y'all hearing me okay? There we go. This should work now.
British. I'm asking because the new Nationality and Borders Bill being pushed by the Conservatives would give the government the power to strip me of my British citizenship without notice, without warning, and without any right to appeal. I'm British. I was born here. I grew up here. Britain is my home. But because my parents were from Bangladesh, according to the Tories, I should be treated differently. Just
All British. All British. I was born here. I was raised here. And he's talking with that white European lisp and everything. I was born here. I was raised here. Like, what is you talking about? What is you talking about? You can't be serious right now. Like, where did? Anyways, let's just keep going, man. Just because my parents' heritage is from Bangladesh doesn't mean that I'm Bangladeshi. I'm British. I was born here. I was raised here. One second, guys. I gotta fix this up again. It's so crazy, man. And y'all believe that crap. Like, you don't even know your own history, let alone British history, and you believe this nonsense. You're not joking. You're serious. Are you serious right now? Like, what? Anyways, peeps. Anyways. Hold on, y'all.
British. I'm asking because the new Nationality and Borders Bill being pushed by the Conservatives would give the government the power to strip me of my British citizenship without notice, without warning, and without any right to appeal. I'm British. I was born here. I grew up here. Britain is my home. But because my parents were from Bangladesh, according to the Tories, I should be treated differently. Just because of my parents' heritage, if the government wanted, I could be deported to Bangladesh, a country that I am not a citizen of. If this isn't racism, then I don't know what is.
Look at this big old brown butter biscuit. This big round brown butter biscuit. He legit believes that I'm British. I'm British. I don't have a Bangladeshi citizenship. You know what he's trying to tell you? He's trying to tell you that he legit distanced himself from back home Bangladeshi society. He ain't trying to be a part of that society. He ain't trying to help it. He's trying to go back. He ain't trying to build it up because I'm British. Y'all are tripping. Tripping. I can't believe what I'm watching here, man. Look, am I losing my mind? And he just put this out there. Can you imagine now? Like, I don't see Africans do this at all. Africans, West Indians, you know what I mean? I don't see Ghanaians coming up here, getting citizenship and stuff like that. Talking about, I'm not Ghanaian. I don't have Ghanaian citizenship. You know what I'm saying? There's something, I don't know, it's something with black people that we know the deal instantly. You feel me? We understand what the deal is. Big round brown buttery biscuit. Y'all hearing me? Click one if y'all can hear me. One second, guys. This is so crazy, man. I'm British. Word. Round oatmeal cookie. This is so crazy, man. Like this is the amount. This is how the level that the inferiority complex of Muslims has gotten to. Now you deny even where you're from. Like you just completely divorce yourselves from where you're from. You feel me? Jazakallah khair, Fatima. Allah reward you and multiply it for you 1,000-fold and forgive you your sins by it and bless you and your family. Ameen. Everybody say Ameen. Let's continue, man. I want to finish this thing.
British. I'm asking because the new Nationality and Borders Bill being pushed by the Conservatives would give the government the power to strip me of my British citizenship without notice, without warning, and without any right to appeal. I'm British. I was born here. I grew up here. Britain is my home. But because my parents were from Bangladesh, according to the Tories, I should be treated differently. Just because of my parents' heritage, if the government wanted, I could be deported to Bangladesh, a country that I am not a citizen of. If this isn't racism, then I don't know what is. We've seen where this kind of thing leads. Members of a Windrush generation were denied healthcare, jobs, housing and benefits by this government. Some were even deported to countries they hadn't been to since they were children.
Former nurse of Caribbean origin who was brought to the UK as a baby and indeed whose father served in the Royal Air Force is now facing deportation from the country which she's called home for most of her life.
The government said sorry. They said they had made a mistake. But this new bill shows that not only are they still pursuing racist policies, they are making them worse. My dad came to this country in 1969. He loved it here. He raised a family here. But my dad clung on to his Bangladeshi passport until the day he died. He said one day they will send us back. Back then I used to laugh at him. I thought he was just being paranoid. But now I'm sad to say, it looks like my dad was right.
You don't say. It looks like my dad was right. You don't say. Man, these guys, man. I don't know what to tell you. But anyways, the whole point is that they got like this because they legit believe this stuff. They believe in democracy. They believe in the enemy. And then when the enemy kicks him, this is like the case of the house Negro and the field Negro. When the enemy kick you out the house, you call it racism. No, massa, please don't kick me out the house. Don't send me out in the field with the rest of the field Negroes, massa. I want to stay in here with you, massa. I needs to get me a big old brown buttery biscuit, massa. That's what they doing. You sound ridiculous, man. Please, massa. Please. Don't kick me out, massa. It's racism now. What did you think? Most of my family in UK been here for 4 or 5 generations. Yet we know the UK is not our home. We always say we are Somali and have back plans to return to Somaliland, inshallah. Yeah, this is. I think most Black people and Africans, they understand this. They understand this thing. It's a quirk with Arabs and South Asians that they trust. They just always trust in the enemy, believe in the enemy. I left the link if anybody wants to come in and comment. I'm going to watch one more thing from Shaykh Haitham. Please, massa, can I stay in the house with you, massa? Please? Am I British? Am I British, massa? Sorry, y'all. I had to do it, man. These guys are so I don't get it. I really don't get it, man. Like, how can you be that slow?
Cut it short. Brothers and sisters, honestly speaking, I believe that every single Muslim is obliged
Yep.
to register to vote. They will be sinful if they don't register to vote and if they don't vote. Did you get that? I strongly believe that they are going to be sinful,
Right.
committing
Absolutely.
a sin.
Yeah.
What we are saying, those Muslim countries, they should have, okay, a democratic system to allow people to select the best of them, or to select the ruler. And
No society would ever do that. I'm sorry, Sheikh Haitham, with all due respect. With all due respect. If you leave the vices of people to choose their leaders, they will never pick the righteous one. The days of the Sahaba are over. The time of the Khulafa al-Rashidin is over. They were choosing the righteous leaders up until Ali ibn Talib. And then it ended after that, after Hassan ibn Ali. That was the closest thing to a democratic society, a righteous democratic society, as you're calling it, as there ever was, done through Shura, where the people chose their leaders, their righteous leaders. Didn't even last a whole generation. Okay? Like, this never happened before. I'm sorry, Shaykh Haitham, with all due respect, I respect your knowledge, I respect your studies, I respect your age. But this one right here, not only is it wrong, but historically, history isn't even with you. Now we live in a society where the people are incredibly ignorant. So the righteous people like yourself, and maybe the crazy people like myself, the crazy Negroes like myself, and the crackhead, and the Satan worshiper, and the tranny, and the white supremacist, and the witchcraft practitioner, and the drunkard, all these people get the same equal voice in voting. All of them. And you mean to tell me that if the people were left to their vices to vote, they're going to vote in the righteous leader? Did you not see Donald Trump? This is the biggest hujjah. Sorry, Sheikh, with all due respect. I respect you, Sheikh, but this is Donald Trump is a hujjah against you. Borat Johnson is a hujjah against you. Y'all hearing me? See, here's the problem. Voting is a numbers game. I keep saying this. Either it's a numbers game, either through the votes, as the Sheikh has articulated here, or it's a numbers game through wealth. That's it. In any democratic society, wealth always trumps the actual one man, one vote policy. But y'all think that you can get righteous people in just by voting in righteous people. Believe me, that will never happen. Allah gives the leadership to who He pleases, and He takes it away to who He pleases. This is the one point I gotta be a little bit, but Jazakallah khair, Shaykh Haitham. Allah reward you, especially for your hard work and your concern for the ummah. Allah bless you and your family. Ameen. Everybody say Ameen. But and with all due respect to the Shaykh, in this particular point, this is way off.
They also should have freedom to select laws.
I also recommend that we have a kind of merge between democracy and Islam. This should be the post-democracy, maybe.
Whenever there is democracy, I think there is hope.
He calling democracy hope and stuff. Y'all hearing me? Malish. He calling democracy hope and stuff. Let me tell you a little story about democracy. It's a true story. Ironically, any one of you can look it up. When slavery ended, there was a period after slavery called Reconstruction. And during this period, what happened was black people were gaining power all throughout the southern states. Remember, at these times, black people outnumbered white people 4-1 or 5-1, depends on which stats you look at, right? So they were outnumbering white people 4-1, 5-1. They put over 5,000 political leaders in every position that you can think of in the southern states. Jazakallah khair, Sister Tika. May Allah reward you and bless you and forgive you your sins and multiply it for you 1,000-fold. And thank you so much for your generosity. Ameen. So, this period during the Reconstruction period, when the ruling class saw what was going on, they started changing the laws for voting specifically for black people. What they started making literacy test. Y'all hearing me? They started changing the laws for voting, making literacy test. And they essentially said, well, if you can't read, you're not allowed to vote. So what were black people doing? What do you think black people were doing? Because they understood the importance of voting during this time. What do you think they were doing? They were learning how to read. They were building their schools. They were building institutions. They were picking themselves up by their bootstraps. And in that 12-year period of Reconstruction, the literacy rate of black people, because remember, in slavery, reading was illegal. If you were caught reading, that could be anything from torture to a death sentence. So they went from negligible literacy to 62% within a time span of 12 years. A literacy rate. 12 years only. 12 years only. And what happened? What did your democratic righteous society do? Come on. Who knows the answer? Who knows the answer? Put it in the comments, please. What happened as a result of this power shift in democratic American society? Who knows the answer? Please put it in the chat. Y'all play too much. Who knows? Who knows the answer? What happened? Please put it in the chat. What was the thing that destroyed Reconstruction in the States? Who knows? Should I just tell you? Should I just tell you? Y'all play too much. Think these people are gonna let you have power through voting? Through voting. You don't know these devils. You legit don't know these devils, and you want to be close to them. Mark Douglas, 3/5. That was before slavery. Jim Crow. Compromise. Jim Crow is right after. Jim Crow is right after this thing happened. What happened was these government officials and offices were violently taken over by the Ku Klux Klan. The Ku Klux Klan was a reaction to Reconstruction. Thank you. Thank you. And you're welcome. You're welcome for the history lesson. Then Jim Crow happened. Jim Crow was an extension of slavery and a reaction to Reconstruction, where they violently prevented black people from voting. Violently. Are y'all hearing me? Over 200 black towns were razed to the ground. Massacres all over the states. Massacres, which caused the massive exodus of black people from the south to the north. Not only that, even though slavery so-called ended in 1865, they had two things going on at the same time. Sharecropping, which is another form of slavery, and some of them just kept their slaves anyway. There were slaves all the way up, legit slaves all the way up until the 1960s. This is your democracy that you're making an argument for. This is a democracy you're talking about. Saying that as righteous and that the people will vote righteous people. You don't know. You just got here, man. Sorry, Shaykh Haitham, but legit, you don't know, okay? You don't know, okay? You've been watching the enemy reap the benefits of raping and stealing and pillaging and genocide while they live in peace, and you think it's because of democracy. You don't think it's because they raped, they stole, they pillaged. You don't believe that. You don't believe that. You just see the effects that's happening in the Muslim countries, and you think the Muslims are backwards. And let's be real. The Muslims are backwards. We just saw a couple of Muslims. Am I British? Am I British? My father, he kept his Bangladeshi passport to the day that he died. I used to think he was crazy, talking about. I can't even do a British accent. For the day that they will kick us out. That's how y'all talking. You're crazy, man. I'm sorry to say it like that. And the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned this already, that your love of the life of this world will be high, and your fear of death will also be high, and that's why you'll be losing. You'll be like the scum of the ocean. That's how we are, man. It's just a nation of brown butter biscuits, man. Am I British? His British in this British society, begging and begging. Oh, please don't kick me out. As a good Muslim master, you see me take off my wife's hijab and shave my beard, master. As one of the good ones, sir. Yes, y'all tripping, man. Straight tripping. But anyways, the whole point is that we as black people and we as Muslims, in order to function in democratic society, you can't just ignore democracy. Like you're in democratic society. You can't ignore it, right? And at the same time, you can't believe what the enemy's telling you either. Just vote, always vote for these liberal parties and stuff. You know what I mean? You have to practice quid pro quo. That's how you survive in a democratic society. Everybody has to work together. If you're Muslim, we can't, spend all this time looking at our differences. We can't do that. You're in a democratic society. Democracy is a numbers game. It's a numbers game. We have to stick together. We have to. And we present our plans, whatever, to both parties in whatever democratic society you're in, and say, this is what we want. What is you going to do for us? We have 20,000 votes, 30,000, 50,000 people ready to vote for you. What are you going to do for us? Oh, nothing? Okay, we're taking our votes to the other side. You'll see how quick you get. Thank you. Thank you. Hassan, exactly. And leverage it in negotiation. That's what it is. Every other group of power does this. You just telling telling black folk and Muslims just to vote all willy-nilly and not ask for anything? Nothing? So we're giving our votes for what now? Because if you don't vote, you will lose your freedom. And what is you talking about? You weren't free to begin with. Like, what is you saying? Anyways, Ikhwan, it's been over an hour now. Jazakallah khair. I'd like to thank everybody who participated, and please leave comments as well. And I would like to thank those of you who donated, the sisters who donated. May Allah reward you and bless you and multiply for you 1,000-fold. Ameen. Everybody say Ameen. And Jazakallah khair for watching this broadcast. And thank you for supporting the channel. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe to the channel. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.